Hello, my name is Joseph Parr, and I'm a dancer with Pittsburgh Ballet Theatre. And in Pittsburgh Ballet Theatre's Fireside Nutcracker, I portray the nephew slash Nutcracker.
And I'm Cooper Verona, and I portray the Rat King. We're going to talk about the battle scene. Well, I wanted to just note that actually the Rat King was my dream role as a child. Like I didn't want to be Sugar Plum Cavalier. I didn't want to be Albrecht, anything. I just wanted to be the Rat King because I thought it seemed so fun. To get into character, I basically am living out my childhood dream, so that helps. And but also just putting on the costume because it's so big. There's so much to it. It's a giant head, giant cape. So I don't really have to do much. I just put that on and then just kind of go from there.
That's cool. For me, when you're the Nutcracker, it's getting into character kind of evolves as the first act goes. So at first, you're the nephew, and you go on a journey where you meet different people, and sometimes they're a little mean to you. So you're kind of go on a roller coaster of emotions. And then by the time that you're on stage before the battle or during the battle and you're transformed into the Nutcracker, you have to go into being a soldier mode and trying to protect Marie and her house. That's my journey. So during the battle scene, the Nutcracker is behind a table, and Drosselmeyer covers the table with a big cape, and the Nutcracker grows bigger and bigger and bigger, and then he takes the cape away and he shows that the Nutcracker is there, and there's just chaos everywhere. There's little mice, there's big rats, there's an elephant, there's all sorts of stuff going on, and it's kind of dark in the mask. It's hard to see, and sometimes the stage it's almost like looks like smoky, and so you really just kind of have to use your peripheral vision to the best of your abilities to make sure that you don't whack anybody in the face.
Yeah, I have the same thing as Rat King. Sometimes the head gets detached and it's bobbling in front of my eyes, and it's like, just keep moving, but you can't see what's going on. In the stage version, I'm introduced earlier, but in the Fireside Nutcracker film version that we did, I just appeared during the battle, and so I kind of usher on my minions, my rat horde. And what was the question? What am I doing? Oh, I'm trying to attack the nephew. So I kind of am up at the top of the ottoman, which has grown to this huge size, and I'm sort of conducting them of where to go. And finally, the Nutcracker says, "Come down here and fight me yourself." And then I climb down and battle with him.
The mice and soldiers, they duke it out pretty good, and then eventually the nephew and Rat King are like, "It's time for me and you to settle this once and for all."
Yeah.
And so we do. The choreography itself, all right, take two. So whenever I do the choreography in the battle scene, if I didn't have to wear the head and I didn't have to carry a sword, it really wouldn't be that daunting. But when you add in those elements and the fact that you can't really see, it can become quite challenging. But it's also very rewarding whenever you are fighting and executing those steps. What about for you, Cooper?
Um, I don't really have any choreography. I think
But
that
you get to when you're up on the platform, you kind of get to do whatever you
whatever I
feel,
want.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what's fun about Rat King is you're just up there and it's all improvisation. So to me, it's really fun because the Rat King is such a weird character. He's a king, so you can switch it up and be like very royal because he's like a half man, half rat. So you can like be really low and scurrying around, and then you can be really high and regal with your sword and stuff. So to me, it's like and it's a kids ballet, so it's just silly. He's like the villain, but it's also supposed to be funny and fun, which is just means you can basically do anything that you want to do.
As long as you don't fall off the platform.
Yeah, and actually the platform is raked backwards. It's slanted back because they have, I think it's so that from the stage it looks, I don't know why, but it's so that it looks bigger. I'm not sure, but my first time up there was like I felt like I was going to fall to my death. But 10 years later, it's like I'm so sure of myself up there.
Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Well, I've had a couple times where I was like really into it, and I've like broken my sword. That's
Yeah.
happened a couple times. That's not very good whenever you are at intermission when they say, "Oh yeah, we saw a piece of your sword went into the orchestra pit." Oh, I shouldn't have done that. And there's a couple of times where at the very end, whenever the Nutcracker is supposed to stab the rat, you got to make sure that you stab him in the right place. And there's been a couple of times where I've missed because you can't really see, and that's kind of comical too for the dancers backstage.
I think when you broke your sword, it was me as Rat King because I've definitely hit too hard and it just goes flying. And then Brad, our props guy, is not happy with us.
Luckily, he's really good at fixing swords because whenever we're doing it, he might have to fix it.
For me, I think it's when I get stabbed. Um, we don't we interact, we interact at the end and we do some sword fighting. I think I have more fun up on the platform when I'm just like doing whatever I want to do. But when I get stabbed, that's like the moment we really connect and I'm able to like uh act the most. So it's like your big moment as Rat King. So for me, that's the most fun, I'd say.
When we did the fireside one, it was actually more fun for me. Before we fought, we kind of to fill the music because we had to do it differently. We kind of like walked around each other, like sizing one another up. So that was fun. And normally the Nutcracker gets lifted, and so it was kind of nice that we didn't have to do that, and I had to do a turn, but like probably around like the sixth or seventh take we did it, like you start to kind of get tired, but it was a lot of fun to film.
Yeah. Uh, for me, it was really difficult, actually, more so than I thought it would be. In the stage show, you put on the head a couple minutes before you come out. You go, and the battle scene's not that long, and you take it off. It's not the most comfortable thing. It's very front heavy. It's on a bicycle helmet, and the front of it is weighing down, so it weighs on your neck, and you don't really realize that until you have to wear it for hours. So that was the biggest challenge. And after every take, like after I would die, I would actually be dead and I'd have to like struggle to take everything off because I also was wearing a mask underneath the rat mask. So it was like an extra layer. I couldn't breathe. My neck was kind of jacked up after that. But Yeah, that was the biggest difference to me. I mean, the choreography did change too. We did that walk around Joe was talking about, and the whole thing was reversed. But luckily, we were smart enough to manage that.
Yeah, filming definitely brought on a whole new set of challenges rather than performing, because whenever we had normal performances in the theater, uh, each show was different than the previous show, and it kind of built a different way each time. And whenever we were filming, instead of filming things in order like A, B, C, sometimes you would do B, A, C, and instead of going through and just having to do it all one time, you would have to do B like 6 or 7 times, and then the next day you would have to do A. So it was kind of a new type of environment we had to adjust ourselves to. But we all adapted pretty well, pretty quick, and it was definitely a delightful experience.
Well, the whole battle scene was condensed for the Fireside version, so it is slightly different, and we had to find a way to thread the story without all of the components being there. Um, Another kind of thing that I had to be aware with my head was if the camera's down low, you got to tilt your head so that the rat head is facing the camera. Whereas in the theater, you can put your head up because then the rat eyes are going to the people in the balcony or something like that. So I did feel a little bit more reined in, like I had to hone in on where I was being shot from, rather than just kind of going all over the place.
I agree, and we had to make sure that you don't travel too far so that you wouldn't get out of frame and things like that, which added a whole new degree of difficulty to it.
What I love about the Nutcracker is it's a family tradition for so many people, and I feel like it's an important thing for a lot of people to not miss out, even during COVID. So I think it's important that we did this film version, which is a condensed, very digestible version that people can play in their homes and make a whole thing of it. It feels special that I got to be a part of that and play the Rat King in that and be the villain that comes to people's homes instead of them having to come to us.
Yeah, Nutcracker definitely will always have a a nice soft spot in my heart. It means a lot to every dancer because we've grown up watching it and then dreaming of playing certain roles and eventually being able to dance them and share them on stage with the audience. And I love the idea that in every show there's someone in the audience who has never seen it before. And that's something that's even more special about the Fireside Nutcracker, is that there will probably be people who may not have ever gotten to see it in the theater get to see this new version. And then whenever things return back to normal, they'll want to come see it for real on stage. And I just think that's a really beautiful thing, and really just so happy to be a part of it.
Answer, Joe.
What
I
do
mean,
you think?
I pretty much just said what Cooper said.
Thanks so much for watching this, and I hope that you can tune in to see the Fireside Nutcracker. Was that good? Should I do it again?
I think you could do it again. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. And wait, just let me. But wait a minute.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope that you can enjoy watching us in the Fireside Nutcracker. I'm terrible at this. Should Joe do it? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm forgetting what I'm saying halfway through, but do you
No,
want me to do it again, or was
maybe
that...
one more time. Yeah.
Thanks so much for tuning in, and I hope that you join us for the Fireside Nutcracker.
That was perfect.
Nailed it.
Hit him with the wave. Ooh.
Sorry.